Hey everybody, Patrick Hostis here with a little update on that Amtrak derailment in DuPont, right down the road from where I live here. So the NTSB came out with some stuff today, which I don't know. It's take it or leave it, I guess. But this is what they say. They said there was no positive train control system installed, which we already knew that, which is that system that could have automatically slowed the train down. I mean, I don't know why they keep bringing that up over and over again. I mean, it was kind of well known in this area they didn't have it because of the lobbying efforts. There was actually a big deal about this bridge, and I'll go into a little bit more about that later. Or not the bridge, the whole rail system, putting this 80-mile-an-hour train out there. There was a big debate about that, and issues like that were brought up, but I'll get into that a little bit later. Another thing they brought up is so the emergency brake wasn't hit during the accident, like it wasn't the engineer or somebody didn't trigger it. It went off automatically during the incident. So what that means is nobody, grabbed the brake or tried to slow it down, emergency ways. Now, the e-brake is slightly different than in a car. Obviously, I believe it stops the whole car, and that would explain why the last three cars out of the eight were able to stay up on mostly on the track. One of them's teetering over the edge of the off the side of the bridge there, but that's the way it it came down. The other thing they said was that it was going 80 miles an hour in a 30. And then they brought up that they thought maybe the conductor was, or the engineer, or whoever drives the train was distracted because he had another coworker in there who was learning the route or something. And that seems a little unusual to me because they haven't talked to any of the crew yet. And they're still in the hospitalized. All of them were hospitalized. So they haven't talked to any of them. They've got no information from them. But this lady from the NTSB who came down here keeps saying that, well, it could be distraction. That's something we're gonna look into. It could be distraction. It's something we're gonna look at. I mean, it just seems like they're trying to like set the table for what they want us to look at. I don't know. It just seems bizarre. Maybe it was something like that, but I mean, they haven't looked at any camera footage or anything because the cameras, inward and outward facing cameras that look at the crew and what's going on inside the crew compartment and all that. And then there's ones that face out so you can see where the train's going and all that. And both sets of those were pretty badly destroyed in a crash, but they were able to send some of these back to Washington, D.C., the cameras themselves, and they're going to see if they were able to get footage off of them. So that means they haven't looked at anything in there, but they're just kind of keep throwing out this distraction thing that this guy might be distracted. Maybe at the end of the day, that's what happened, but it just seems a little premature for me to be throwing that out. I'm more interested to know about what that official told the AP yesterday that it looked like the train hit something on the track. Is that possible or not? I'd like to know that, but they haven't really said anything on that since then. Another thing is, so yesterday in yesterday's video, I said that six people, because six or more people may have died, because that's what Drudge was showing, and that's what a lot of the media kept saying. Well, it turns out three people died, which, it's a lesser number, but it's still bad. Three people are dead because they rode a train. That's really a sad thing. But yeah, so it's not six, it's not more than that. It's actually just three. So that's good news, but not for, it's still a bad thing, obviously. I wanted to, so this is the radio transmission that the train sent right when this accident happened. So I wanted to play that for you.
Amtrak 501. Emergency, emergency, emergency. We are on the ground. Okay. We are on the bridge 5 in the square.
That'll do. Easy stop, tack bar.
On the freeway. Need EMS ASAP. It looks like they're already starting to show up.
BNSF to trainer dispatcher 501. Come in.
Amtrak 501 answering Centralia North. Over.
Hey guys, what happened?
We were coming around the corner to take the bridge over I-5 there, right north into Squally, and we went on the ground.
Okay, is everybody okay?
I'm still figuring that out. We got cars everywhere and down onto the highway.
Okay, copy that. Engineer can comply with stop indication.
I haven't found my engineer. This is the conductor. We can comply with a stop signal. Over.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Amtrak 5.
What milepost are you roughly at?
If I can't reach you, I'll try to call you.
Okay, what milepost you roughly?
Believe we're roughly milepost 2021. It's the bridge that goes over I-5. I'll have an exact milepost for you when I can.
Okay, and you're not fouling the Seattle subcript?
No, not to my knowledge. I'm going to make my way to the south end when I can. I'm on the north end, and as soon as I know exactly where all my train is, I'll let you know.
So yeah, that's what the guy said there. Obviously, I mean, that's clearly the guy who was in the very back of the train, so he was still on the tracks. The engineer, the one who they keep saying might be distracted or whatever, was in the very front. You could see in the video right here, those ones up there. So he's actually, the engineer's on the ground, and I think if you kept the camera panning to the right, that's where the guy who was on the radio would be, the very rear end of the 8 cars there. So he was still on the tracks because he also referenced that he's on the north end. Well, that's the north end. Over there, the south end would be the side on the left side of I-5 if you're looking this way that the video's on right now. So that would explain why he was still in reasonably good shape, it sounded, compared to the other folks that were down there and were unable to respond. So anyway, that's that situation. That's all the revelations that they've given out today. There's really not much else. Of course, there's rumors around the area of this and that and the other thing, but most people are just kind of, I mean, a lot of people are just pissed about the I-5 thing, to be honest with you. I mean, it's like the freeway south of here there's nobody on the freeway. I mean, it just chokes, at least heading southbound. You go northbound, there's a lot of people because the northbound lanes are open, but there's not a lot of people showing up at work and down in the Olympia areas and stuff like that because this basically choked off all the southbound traffic coming out of Seattle and all that. Now, there's other ways to where you can go around. I don't know how many people are listening to this are familiar with this area, but you can go around through Yelm and stuff like that. They have detours set up, but it takes about 3 hours to go somewhere that it usually takes you 20 to 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes if there's a lot of traffic. But so yeah, people are getting really impatient with that, and Governor Inslee was out there today when saying this, that, and the other thing, but aside from that, not much else. I wanted to play this for you, though. This is something the mayor of Lakewood, Don Anderson, said before this accident occurred. He said this about this whole idea of putting this fast rail system into this area.
My concern is, we had a rail line being used for this route that, for all practical purposes, except for Sunnyside Beach and one other little location, nobody ever crossed. Now we have over 200 school buses a day, thousands of cars through an urban area that is not used to rail traffic. And while I appreciate all that you've done as an outreach effort, it's virtually inevitable that someone is going to get killed that wouldn't get killed otherwise. And this is unacceptable. So if there is a safety enhancement short of the ones that you can't afford, which are the ones that should be required, which are grade separations in urban areas where rail lines haven't been active, they need to be implemented, and they need to be implemented prior to the operation of this rail line. I can hear rail authorities from the state, federal, all down dismissing the person who's killed as a trespasser, or they have behavioral health issues. But the fact is, the statistics show where this happens, where this type of project happens, more people are killed. And it's not worth 6 minutes. So come back when there is that accident and try to justify not putting in those safety enhancements. Or you can go back now and advocate for the money to do it, because this project was never needed and endangers our citizens for very, very, very little highly subsidized transportation enhancement. Well, it's a great project for bureaucrats. It's a terrible one for the community. And when somebody's killed, I want somebody from Washed Out Rail back here telling me why they didn't put in the safety enhancements. So I appreciate your concern, and I will carry that message.
Okay, and now that was the again, that was the mayor of Lakewood, Don Anderson, and the reason why he was so concerned about that is Lakewood's right near that area, so this rail system went right through his town. That's why he was so upset about it, and it was very prophetic what he said. And now look where we are. We're in this situation where this accident's happened, and if it does come down to it could have been averted, that's going to be a huge problem. But aside from that, not much big news out here. I still haven't tried to drive down there because I just know it's going to be a nightmare. But I will get you some footage of that area. They already pulled the cars out there. Apparently they took all the rail cars off and all the debris from the wreck and took it to Fort Lewis or Joint Base Lewis McChord, which is right next door. Apparently that's where the NTSB is going to keep it. And they'll do their stuff there, I guess. So I'm not sure when they're going to actually open up I-5 though, because they said there's damage to the road. So I'm not sure. It'll probably be a couple more days until they can use that road again, which will be. I'll be thankful for that because honestly, a lot of the folks who are driving through my area, I live out in the middle of nowhere in the sticks, and I like it that way. And it's hard to live away from people when they're all flooding into this area trying to get through. So I will be happy when I-5's open again, but it takes as long as it's going to take. But yeah, that's about it. So I'll do another video um, if when I get some more updates, or I can get you some footage of that area. I know that area pretty well, right? There's a good picture of it. Um, so yeah, I used to spend some time out there. So it's actually a pretty nice area up there. But I'll get you some video up there so you can see that area, and you can see that ugly ass bridge that I keep mentioning right there with that crappy ghetto slang crap on it or whatever it is. Anyway, so but yeah, please keep let me know what you think, what your opinion is about what caused this accident. I'm very curious what other folks are saying, because right here in Washington, it's everybody's it kind of doesn't. I mean, nobody really here is jumping to any conclusions, I don't think, but there's a lot of suspicion and a lot of people want to know what caused it. But I think right now it's a lot of people are assuming it has something to do with this no this not having this positive rail control or train control system. But we'll see. But let me know what you think might have caused this incident. And this has been Patrick Hostis.